Jane, how can the government put some downward pressure on energy prices?
Well, I think the first thing that they could do would be to do, as Jenny said, work with the industry rather than calling the gas producers frauds, rather than saying that increasing gas supply is BS, which is exactly what Chris Bowen has done. I'm so pleased to hear Jenny speaking about this because, let's face it, Jenny, the Assistant Minister for Climate Change and Energy, you know what you're talking about here, and yet every single one of your other colleagues that have nothing to do with the portfolio seems to have something to say. And you're hearing something different from Ed Husick, Madeleine King, Jim Chalmers, Chris Bowen. And the Prime Minister has just said, I'm just going to leave them to it to work it out. That's kind of not leadership, the leadership that the country is screaming out for right now. As you said, gas is 40% of the energy supply into our manufacturers. Unless we get this right, the price of everything is going to go up dramatically. So it's really important now that those negotiations with the gas producers takes place in an orderly way, not having every minister having something to say about it, some of them demonising the gas industry, some of them loving the gas industry, some of them saying price caps that put off the private sector, some of them talking about other mechanisms. Really, that just doesn't seem, there seems to be a complete disarray on this issue, and yet the price of failure is so high, somebody's got to do something. Where is Anthony Albanese on this? Rather than just turning it over to his ministers, surely he should take the lead on these negotiations.
Jenny, is the government on the same page when it comes to this?
Well, it's a little bit rich, isn't it? Because the government Jane was part of spent 9 years unable to land an energy policy of any kind. 22 energy policies, none of them landed. It's one of the reasons that it's so difficult for our energy system to respond appropriately and adequately to some of the international challenges that we're seeing.
Gas prices went down.
However,
energy prices went down by 8% in the last 2 years, and we had the same problem, and we worked through it with the gas producers and we lowered the cost. We did that. Now it's your turn, but you haven't been able to do it because you've disrespected the gas producers, you've demonised them so badly, you've called them greedy and you've called them frauds. And now Australians are paying the price.
Since coming to government, we have had to sort out a whole range of problems that you left for the Australian people, and it's our job to clean it up. So we have worked through the issues with the electricity system, we have worked through issues with gas supply, and now we are working through issues on price.
Well, I guess
you're right. It is going to require some negotiation and some thinking. But the Prime Minister's been very clear. We want to be collaborative, but we want an outcome. And he's very focused on it, and he's actually tasked the ministers. Of course, there are a range of portfolios that have an interest in this. In our government, we actually want our ministers to work together. It's a little bit different to how you ran the show, Jane, I know.